Hello, everyone. I'm Coach Abby. Thank you once again for joining me today on Love Advice TV. Love Advice TV is a channel that's been created exclusively for you to assist you in navigating through any relationship challenges you may be facing. So today we're going to talk about something subtle, powerful, and surprisingly seductive, and it's emotional neutrality, what I refer to as the new aphrodisiac with your ex. Yes, neutrality. We never really think of neutrality as seductive, do we? But wait till we continue with this video. I think you'll agree with me that it's amazing. The state of not reacting, of not chasing, and how that calm center becomes the very thing they can't resist. So let's clear the biggest misconception first by clarifying what emotional neutrality isn't. It isn't apathy. It isn't coldness. It's not pretending you don't care. Emotional neutrality is more like emotional regulation. It's your ability to stay steady in your energy, to stop letting someone else's actions dictate your vibration, because when you hold peace, they hold confusion. Believe it or not, you instantly become the emotional leader. That balance, that quiet composure is what attracts chemistry with one another. Think about it. We're drawn to people who make us feel safe, people whose energy grounds us. Your ex might not consciously say it, but when they feel your calm, your detached energy, their nervous system relaxes. Suddenly, the dynamic flips. When the breakup first happened, many of you used to chase stability through them. You know, it's a common impulse. Please come back. Please, I'll make it right. Please, you know, we think that our stability will come out of our chaotic behavior. However, when you began to focus inward, and you realize that their reaction to you depends first on your energy frequency. And that is where emotional polarity reignites. So let's start by asking yourself, when I think of my ex, what happens in my body? Yeah, not in your mind, in your body. Think of it right now. Do you tense up? Do you replay scenes? Do your palms get sweaty? Or are you taking some accountability and allowing things to play out calmly? Are you saying to yourself, it's okay. Things didn't work out the way that I wanted them to work out, obviously, but it's okay. Neutrality doesn't mean you stopped loving them. It means you stopped losing yourself over them. It's a big difference. And when you reach that place, you radiate a special kind of light. I call it maturity. If you're unsure where you stand emotionally, allow me to invite you to take that free assessment questionnaire linked below. It's really designed to help you discover your current emotional posture. You know, whether you're still reacting or ready to respond from a place of strength, or are you still in that needy, clingy mode? Remember, awareness is the bridge between emotion and evolution. Now, from a psychological perspective, neutrality is regulation. When you're calm, your heartbeat steadies, your tone softens, and your energy becomes consistent. That steadiness sends a subconscious signal of safety. Now, safety equals attraction, because attraction isn't created in chaos. It's not. We have this tendency of thinking that it's all this. No, it's in that steadiness, in that calmness. You're calm next to their uncertain vibration of sorts creates emotional gravity. It's interesting how they start seeking your calm energy without even realizing why. So this is why when they do reach out, or when you do see them somewhere, it's so important, no matter how you feel, to breathe and respond in a calm way. I even prefer silence than going into, well, you haven't reached out and what's going on. None of that. You know, it's common with this posture to get this. So, Abby, when does this turning point take place? I get you. I know you want immediate gratification. We all want to go back to the man or the woman that we love immediately. It's normal. But we need to realize that what we want to do is create a foundation, a strong, solid foundation, so that we're not back into the breakup loop, which happens quite frequently. So when your ex finally notices that their words, their silences, they're no longer throwing you off balance, that's when curiosity really returns, because the power then has shifted. When you stop reacting, you stop feeding the emotional loop that kept them comfortable. And that emotional loop is tied into the breakup loop. We notice we get really comfortable and all of a sudden we pick up and we leave. Why? Because we've done it before. We get to do it again. No, not so fast. Instead, they need to meet the unfamiliar version of you, the one they can't predict. And unpredictability has an element of seduction. It has that ability to tap into deeper emotions and desires to build a genuine connection. So when we touched on emotional neutrality, it isn't about, doing nothing. There's so much that we're doing when we are in a state of calmness. So what does neutrality really looks like? It doesn't mean ignoring messages. I tend to disagree with those that say just ignore it. No, you're polite. You're composed. It means replying without emotional leakage. And what is that emotional leakage? You haven't reached out. You haven't done this. Where are you? What's going on? It's tone. It's you need to say something more to the effect of, hey, I hope your week's going well, or I'm glad to hear from you. What's up? Very lighthearted. No follow-ups to the texts either. This is one thing. Sometimes they reach out and we take it as if it's an invitation of sorts. Continue reaching out, creating a whole thread. No, it's just a simple hello and goodbye. Let them set the pace. Let them show you whether they're really interested or not, or they're just testing the waters. So there's no follow-ups. There's no emoji following every text or anything like that. You just stay calm. You allow them to see that you're not playing hard to get, but you're being solid. You're easy to be around without losing yourself. And we need to know how to convey that balance. Your new seductive language is measured, it's grounded, it's warm. I call it the language of calm power. When they expect drama, you offer calmness. When they test you, pause, say less, but let every word land with clarity. Instead of, why didn't you call me back? Say something to the effect of, hey, no worries, I understand, hope you're well. That shift in tone leaves them thinking, what? What happened? What's going on? They don't really care anymore. That surprise creates renewed interest. There is a saying that practice makes perfect. And although I do not advocate perfection, I encourage proficiency. Neutrality is a practice. It's the daily decision to stay rooted in your center, even when your mind wants to spin stories, and our minds often do. Each time you pause before replying, you breathe before judging, or observe before reacting, you reclaim your authority over your emotional field. And the irony, that inner peace becomes your most magnetic quality. There are so many times that I get, once again, but Abby, how can I ever re-engage? And I, of course, this question is so valid because, we do want to re-engage. And if they're not reaching out, what are we supposed to be doing? Neutrality doesn't mean avoidance. It means emotional readiness. Once you can hold a conversation without intensity, you can re-engage. But this time from choice, not craving. If they sense your ease, they'll subconsciously feel safe reaching out again because you're not suffocating them, because your energy is no longer says, I need you. You convey your hold, and wholeness, trust me, is a new aphrodisiac. If this balance feels hard to achieve, please know you don't have to do it alone. I always invite in my videos, book a one-on-one session with me, because I find that sometimes, we're not sure if I'm even accessible, and I am. This is what I do. It is so fulfilling for me to be able to work out a personalized strategy for your exact situation. We get to redefine and your communication skills, your emotional rhythm, and with it, master the kind of calmness that quietly tips every dynamic in your favor. In your favor. Here's really the beautiful twist. And trust me when I say this, when you stop trying to be unforgettable, you naturally become unforgettable. Because neutrality creates contrast. While everyone else's rushes to be noticed, you stand out by being centered. You no longer chase validation. You emit value. It starts when your piece leaves a stronger impression than your presence ever did. Being unforgettable isn't about being remembered. It's about being felt. And that's where the magic lies. So as we're nearing the end of this video, what is emotional neutrality? It's not the absence of feeling. It's the mastery of it. It's knowing how to project it. It's the art of loving without losing your center. It's about attracting without effort. When you can hold calm in the face of chaos, you stop chasing closure and you start commanding connection. And just like that, you become unforgettable. And that's, once again, the magic. Thank you once again for joining me today. As always, if you found this video helpful, please don't forget to like and subscribe for more tips on personal growth, mending broken relationships, and everything in between. Until next time, I'm Coach Abby.